Hello, hello, hello. So, today we are going to be making venison steaks. I have them sitting here now. We're going to make them in the cast iron. And I just put some garlic, salt and pepper, some steak seasoning on top of that. We don't want to put it in the cast iron skillet yet until the cast iron is hot. Because all I'm going to do, because venison, it doesn't take as long to cook. So what I'm going to do is just sear the top and the bottom. We like ours a little bit more pink. So we're going to put this one last. But what I want to show you is let me know what you guys are up to. Hey Matthew, hey Teresa. Let me know what you're up to. But I'm going to make some mashed potatoes. It'll be a little while, maybe about an hour. So if I was running short on time, I have a little bit of time now. I would definitely use the rapid prep mandolin to cut up my potatoes, because you know when you make mashed potatoes, we usually chunk them, or at least I know I always did. And then sometimes if you don't get the chunks just right, or small enough, it takes a little bit longer for it to cook. So if you're running short on time, I would use this because it is going to make it smaller. It's going to dice them up smaller. So that way your cooking time will be cut in half. So we are going to make this. Change that. This is the rapid prep mandolin. I use this a ton, especially if you eat a lot of salads and you eat a lot of your own vegetables. This is perfect for that. You know, some of the mandolins from the past, your fingers, or even slicers, your fingers are in the way. With this, you don't have to worry about that because you're cutting from up here, and you have a food pusher. You're going to push your food down so your hands are safe. If you have this, let me know. What do you think about it? So what I'm going to do, it doesn't have to be uniform slices. Well, it's going to be uniform slices, but what I'm saying is I don't have to worry about trying to make them uniform, because all we're going to do is make them into mashed potatoes. So I just want to make them small so that they are, I love mine too, Nikki. I just want to make them small so they're even sizes. So whenever you cook them, we're going to cook them in the micro cooker in our microwave. They're not chunked. They're going to get done at the same time. Plus, this is the same setting you would use if you make your homemade French fries. If you like them small, now my husband tends to like steak fries, so a lot of times I have to cut it by hand for him to make them steak fries. But the rapid prep mandolin, you can make your little like McDonald's fry size if you want to. I am going to just do 3 of them because I'm not going to be eating dinner. I'm doing my fasting. So this is all for him. He doesn't need that many. And I am sticking them right into our micro cooker. And this does come in a set of 3 different sizes. Let's cut up these other ones. I'm not worrying that they're in French fry form. They're just going to cook down. But I tell you what, it sure beats chopping and dicing. Let me know what you guys are up to, guys. It is Monday. Now, I was spoiled with the temperature in Delaware. I was there over the weekend. And it was, well, to me, it was beautiful. It was 90 degrees. I enjoyed it. I enjoy the heat. I enjoy the sun. I do wear my SPF 50. Okay. So, everything you see here is dishwasher safe, and it has different knobs, so you can get different slices. If you're going to do zucchini, you can do zucchini chips, cucumbers. I cannot wait to do my sweet potato fries. All right, so these are all dishwasher safe. You want to bring that up. Now, what I like to do, you do not, whenever you're using this micro cooker, like I said, it comes in 3 different sizes. I do not have the other 2 sides because I let my son use them, and he's in the Navy, so I don't have those. But I have the bigger one. I like to add, now this is going to create steam from the microwave, so you do not have to add a lot of liquid at first. I am going to add, I hardly ever use water. For some, like water just doesn't give it any flavor, right? So I always use just a little bit of chicken stock. Probably should have used beef since I'm making venison. Now I use the chicken stock because it already has sodium in it, so you really do not have to add any salt to this. All right, so I have it so it's covered in the bottom. Now just bear with me a little bit. We're going to stick this right in the microwave. I forgot I had corn in there. Let's cook this for about 10 minutes. And then we'll see what that's done. So what I love using it to make fresh salt and stir fry. Yes, but you know what, Nikki? I cannot really do that. I mean, I like it for myself, but I don't know how to cook for one person. My husband won't eat the stir fry, so I don't really make it unless I have company over that's going to eat it with me. So what we're going to do, once the micro cooker is finished, we're going to use our handy potato masher that just came out not too long ago. So guys, I used to hate these things. First of all, I didn't realize how they worked, but they take up so much room in your in your drawers. You try to pull it out and you get stuck and whatnot. This one is flat, and you squeeze it and then it folds up so that you can do your mashing. I love this thing. I do have a hand mixer. However, for some reason I tend to grab this more, even though I never used to like it. This is just what I like. So while that is cooking, I'm going to warm up my cast iron. And let's add a little bit. If you were watching at all and you've seen any of my videos, the new oil and vinegar dispenser, I always have to think about that, is back in stock. And it does do up to 3 teaspoons. So you just squeeze it. You can put any kind of, you can put oil in, you can put vinegar in it. You want to be careful that you do not put anything that has particles in it because it will get stuck in that little tube there. So we want to put this on the bottom there. And I just like to spread this around. Now, I absolutely love our cast iron skillets. I used to hate cast iron. Well, I can't even say I hated it. I never used to use it, and I just judged it. I was being very judgmental on cast iron because I got so intimidated by it. How many of y'all are intimidated by a cast iron? Or maybe you use cast iron. Let me know in the comments. I'm just curious about that. So our cast iron, when you get it, it does come pre-seasoned. You don't have to worry about pre-seasoning it, and it is very easy to take care of. A lot of times when I'm done making my steak, I will actually let that cast iron sit overnight. Don't judge me here, because I like to go live the next day to show how easy it is to clean with stuck on steak on there. So, whew. All right, so this is getting nice and hot. You want to add your, now again, this is venison that I'm not eating, but it is venison. My husband loves venison. I like venison to cook with, like, we do a lot of ground venison, yeah. And that's what I usually use for taco meat, barbecue, spaghetti. But when it comes to like roast and steaks, it's just not my thing. So making that for him. I did season it with salt and pepper and a little bit of garlic and some steak seasoning as well. And then afterwards, I'm going to make a rosemary butter to put over top of it. And basically all it is that you're just going to melt some butter, add some rosemary seasoning, and you're going to drizzle it over the top. For some reason, that just makes it super good. I'm not sure why. Even when we get ribeye, it makes it so good. So that is what we're having for dinner. And of course, no, we cannot forget corn. All I'm going to do is warm the corn up Now our corn is fresh every single year. We always do cut it off the cob with our kernel cutter, which you guys have to have. And then we freeze it, and that's what we use all year long. So I'm going to warm it up in the little milk pot, the cast iron milk pot, and we will have corn with that. So mashed potatoes, corn, and deer venison. And I'm going to show you, let me check this now. All right. Those are my potatoes. They're getting soft, but they're not quite mashable yet. So if you're just tuning in, hold on 1 second. I forgot my corn went all over the place. If you're just tuning in, I used the Rapid Prep mandolin just to cut up like little French fries. They don't have to be chopped and diced because actually these are going to be uniform and they're going to be the same. Well, they're going to get done the same time, and I'm going to mash them anyway, so it really doesn't matter. So we mashed that up. I added a little bit of chicken stock, not water. And then your micro cooker is going to create steam, so you don't need to put a whole lot in. I had it in for 5 minutes. We're going to do it for 5 more, and then we're going to mash it up with the masher. I do have my milk here, so it's not going to go dry. And I also have my butter. And we're going to put some salt and pepper in there. And I don't know about you guys, but my husband's not picky about the consistency of it. It can be, for us, it can be chunky, it can be smooth. It really doesn't matter. I think he just basically likes potatoes. So that's what we're doing. And I don't know. He puts his corn on top of his mashed potatoes, mixes it all in, so it really doesn't matter. It gets chunky anyway. Hey, Michelle, thanks for watching. So it gets chunky anyway, right? So what's going on, guys? How was your Monday? How was your weekend? I had a nice surprise from my youngest, who is in the Navy. He popped in yesterday before we left Delaware. He wasn't too far away. I didn't realize how close he actually was, so we got to spend a day with him. So that's been cooking for about, and oh, in the cast iron, I do have deer. Every time I say deer, people tend to like look at me confused, but if I say venison, they're like okay with that. So I'm making venison steak. I made my cast iron super hot with some oil on the bottom. I use extra virgin olive oil because if you know anything about oil, there's certain ones that you want to use that has a higher smoke point. Canola oil is terrible. Vegetable oil is terrible. Avocado oil is a little bit better to use whenever you're searing because it has a higher smoke point than even extra virgin olive oil. Or just olive oil is even better than extra virgin, but I only have the extra virgin. Or you can use butter or ghee, which is clarified butter. They're all high smoke point. So if you're ever cooking with oil and you are wondering why you're smoking your house out, that's why that oil is not used, is not for heavy or high heat. So be careful of that. You don't want to create any kind of fires. Alright, so we had that cooking on one side. We're going to cook it on the other. So one thing you don't want to do when you're making any kind of steak, you don't want to handle it too much. So if you like to have your steak medium like we do, you want to cook the internal temperature to 135, and I will be testing it with our thermometer. Another thing that you do not ever want to do is cut your steak to make sure it's done in the middle, because you're releasing all the juices. Actually, what you want to do, and like I said, this is with any steak, once it reaches just before your internal temperature that you want it to be, remove it from the pan, set it aside, and let it rest. Do not cut it right away. Do not do anything. Just cover it with foil and let it sit there for a little bit. The reason why is because your steak is going to continue to cook, and you do not want to release any of those juices, otherwise it's going to get dry. So do not handle your steak too much. Just let it do its thing. So I did about 5 minutes on one side. I'm going to do about 5 minutes on the other side. I'm going to remove it and cover it. But I'm going to take the temperature first, and it's okay if it's not quite at 135 because it's going to continue to cook off the heat. I think sometimes we try to cook it till it's done, and that's with any kind of food. I've learned the hard way that you have to almost undercook it in the pan or the pot or whatever you're cooking it in, and let it finish cooking naturally by itself. So that's what we do. There's your lesson on steak. Don't ruin a good steak. Make sure that you are handling it properly. It drives me nuts. In fact, my oldest son, Colby, I was on FaceTime with him last year, and he had just gotten his cast iron skillet making steak, and I saw him cut into it, and I was like, no, don't cut it, just let it go. I promise you, it's going to be the best steak that you have. So, okay. So we're coming down. I'm going to check my temperature. And it's not quite there yet. So we're going to just let that keep cooking. It is just so important that you don't handle your steak too much. All right, so here are my potatoes. Whew, got a steam facial there. Let's see if we can mash these yet. They're still not quite there. We're going to add just a little bit more chicken stock. Now, I am actually going to reduce the heat to the cast iron because we all know cast iron is going to hold the heat, and it's going to continue to cook because it wasn't quite to temperature, but it's almost there to where I want it. And like I said, if you're just tuning in, we are making mashed potatoes in the micro cooker. I did not peel my potatoes. Truth be told, I hate peeling potatoes. Anybody with me here? Like, am I the only one that hates to peel potatoes? So thankfully, my family doesn't mind if the skin's still on, and then I mash it all up together. So that's what we are making in there. We're making it really quick. I use the Rapid Prep mandolin to get like little french fry size so that I can cook it all together, and then it's going to be done at the same time. And then I have my corn in my little milk pot. We always cut corn off the cob every single summer, and we freeze it, and that's what we have all year round. Again, I don't put too much liquid in here because the corn naturally will have its own liquid. Sometimes if you put too much in, it takes away from the flavor. So let's cook this up a little bit. That's cooking. This is getting done. So what's new, guys? What are you up to? I will tell you our cookware, select cookware is 60% off this month for host. So if there's anything that you see you'd like to host the party, let me know. Every Wednesday, starting this Wednesday, I am creating a cooking series. I did post it on my personal timeline as well as in my VIP group. I would love for you guys to join us for the first time. It is via Zoom, so you don't have to leave your house unless you want to. If you're local, you want to come to the house and cook along, that's completely fine. I did put the recipe up, so if you want to cook along on Zoom and you want to create the same recipe, it's there for you. So I'm excited about that. It's going to be every Wednesday at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Over on my VIP group on Zoom, so anyone can actually join in if you want to. So hopefully I'll see y'all there. All right, this is better. Now let's add some milk. I do not measure, I measure with love. I love this potato masher for something quick, especially if you're okay with lumps. This is great. It's handy, it's easy, it folds up so it doesn't take up so much space in your drawer like the old school ones. All right, so let's put some butter. Do you guys keep your butter on the counter or in the refrigerator? I use butter so much that I keep it on my counter because it doesn't sit there for very long. All right, now that that's all mashed, let's just stir it up. We're going to add a little bit more milk. A little bit more. Sometimes I'll use heavy whipping cream. That makes it a little bit thicker and smoother. I do not have any at the moment. All right, so there's that. Mashed potatoes in the multi-cook, in the micro cooker. That was my husband calling, sorry. Okay. And I wanted to show you this steak once we have this all finished. And now we're at 139, so we went up. So it went up quite a bit, 139. I wanted it at 135, but we're going to cut into it and see what the results are. As soon as that corn, well, we don't have to wait for the corn. All right. Actually, these potatoes look very good. All right, and let's do this. Delicious. I'm going to show you, I wanted to keep you on just a little bit longer because one of the things I got asked about today in one of my parties is about our steak knives. Our steak knives, I tell you what, hands down, the best knives I've ever used. And I'm a consumer just like y'all. So it's not because I sell it. It is because, honestly, it is the best steak knives ever. It has your box. It comes in a set of 4. It also has protective coating, protective sleeves for the tips. It is wood, stainless steel. The knives itself has a lifetime warranty or guarantee, and the box has a 3-year guarantee. But I'm telling you, do not wash these in the dishwasher either. Hand wash these only, because your wood will end up getting fragile. So let's cut into the steak. Now remember, we like ours a little bit pink, so. And it turned out actually perfectly. I probably don't even need to really saw it. And that's the venison steak for you. Super excited about it. Super excited about the steak knives. Also for the holidays, my husband absolutely loves our carving set. It does come with a carving knife, and it does come with a carving fork, and it also has protective tips on it. All right, guys, that is it. Thank you for joining me for my venison steak and mashed potatoes in the in the micro cooker. I hope that you get to watch the replay. Make sure you hashtag replay, hashtag live, so I didn't know you were here. And I appreciate you for joining in from my kitchen to yours. I hope you have a great day.